Okay, it's 12:15, so we're going to get started. Welcome to the report launch of the Women's Commission of Arkansas. Thank you. So I've been referring to this event as a launch event for a long time. At first, it seemed aspirational. I really wanted today to be a day that not only honored the work that has been done, but also set the groundwork for future work related to the commission. As many of you know, the last time a Women's Commission existed in Arkansas was 50 years ago. We'd like to ensure that this iteration doesn't suffer the same fate. I'm proud to say that we have accomplished that goal in spades, and we'll talk more about that later. But first, let me thank our very wonderful, gracious, and generous hosts, Arkansas State University, whose space we're in today, whose food you're enjoying. So please, Julie Bates is out there still working, but if you'll join me in thanking her and and the entire A-State team. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. I also want to welcome our commissioners who are here today. Gayatri Agnew, if you'll raise your hand for those in the room. Gayatri Agnew from Bentonville. Tamika Edwards from Little Rock. Beverly Morrow, also of Little Rock. There we are. Melly Bridewell from Lake Village. Marie Holder from Little Rock. Kim Lane from Conway. And we may have a few others who join us later, but we'll hold that for now. So please also join me in thanking these commissioners for their dedication and commitment to this cause. I have a lot of thank yous to get through, so bear with me. I also want to recognize the fantastic partnership that the commission has enjoyed with the Women's Foundation of Arkansas, Arkansas State University, and the Fulbright College at the University of Arkansas. First, it was WFA's idea initially to re-energize the Women's Commission in the state, and they committed funding to this effort, $20,000. As you can imagine, funding for special projects like these is very limited in state government, so this financial commitment was critical to the effectiveness of this commission. So thank you, WFA CFO Annabeth Gorman, Director of Strategic Initiatives and my constant companion throughout the commission, Maddie Spickard, and WFA Board President Jill Floyd, who are in the audience today. Thank you. Arkansas State University and the Fulbright College at the University of Arkansas also contributed significantly to the data gathering of this report by funding the telephone survey that we conducted. Chancellor Shields had to bow out at the last minute to unforeseen circumstances, but I want to thank you, Chancellor Shields, for your continued support of the commission, especially as you transition roles mid-year. And thank you, Lane Schmidt, for your support. And finally, thank you to the more than 200 other individual contributors to this effort, whether it was attending a focus group in one of the 10 meetings we held around the state, participating in the phone survey, hosting a meeting, or giving the commission the benefit of their expertise. We could not have pulled this report together without your support. Except where their contribution was anonymized, our thanks to these amazing individuals is enumerated in the reports that are at each of your seats. And if I've left anyone out of my public gratitude, please accept my apologies up front. It's certainly not intentional, and there was definitely a village to make this happen. So let me move now to areas of future gratitude. With me on the dais are three leaders who address challenges that disproportionately impact women. I mentioned earlier that my charge from Governor Hutchinson as chair of this commission was to develop actionable recommendations. Too many times, not in this administration, of course, but throughout our lives, we see government work that goes on the shelf without action. It was important to Governor Hutchinson that our recommendations mean something. I am proud to say that we are collectively proving that our recommendations are actionable because I have folks on stage with me who are ready to take action. But first, a brief recap of the research that led to this report and its recommendations. I mentioned earlier the Women's Commission report relied on a number of sources of information, including an online survey, which was available to citizens from March to November of this year. We had about 80 submissions from that. A phone survey conducted in early September, over 400 valid contacts of women across the state, and regional meetings, which were attended by over 200 men and women. These three subcommittees were established to address the mandates in the governor's executive order, which were to analyze the labor force participation of women in Arkansas, especially with regard to single mothers and in high demand fields like STEM and entrepreneurship, the impact of COVID-19 on Arkansan women, and the childcare economy in the state. It will likely come as no surprise The challenge of finding quality childcare underlies many of the other challenges facing women in Arkansas, since the burden of care largely falls to women. COVID-19 exacerbated longstanding challenges, especially for those women in rural communities who may have already had difficulty accessing quality childcare due to clustering of childcare in more heavily populated areas, transportation challenges, or the availability for second and third shift work. Access to basic physical and mental health services also declined dramatically during COVID-19 and still has not rebounded. Because women take on significantly more burden of child and elder care in their families, ensuring their physical and mental health is important. Throughout our discussions with women in their communities, we also discovered a strong desire for more mentorship, especially among women, and with regard to entrepreneurship. Well, we can mentor men too, that's good. The flexibility offered by working for oneself is enticing to women, balancing any number of competing priorities that don't fit neatly into a typical workday. From this research, the Commission developed 8 recommendations. Briefly, they are: meaningfully engage the business community to address childcare challenges, increase access to women's and mental health resources, especially in rural communities, increase equity in the labor force and in entrepreneurship, increase mentorship for women, incentivize Arkansans to enter or remain in the early childhood education profession, increase awareness of programs designed to assist single parents, increase equity in STEM education, and provide technical assistance and capacity building for expanding existing childcare businesses. And now, let me introduce our first leader who has an announcement that she would like to make. Angela Duran is the Executive Director of Excel by 8, a team of policymakers, healthcare professionals, educators, nonprofit leaders, and community organizers committed to increasing children's health and education outcomes. Angela, what news do you have to share today?
Well, first of all, just thank you, Allison, and all of the commissioners for the amazing job that you have done with this report and the recommendations. I am here today representing Excel by 8, which is a statewide collaborative of over 70 organizations from around the state who are focused on improving health and education outcomes for infants and toddlers and their families. Several years ago, we started hearing from businesses around the state that they were struggling to recruit and retain employees, especially women, because these women were having trouble finding quality childcare for their young children, particularly for infants and toddlers. 11 local chambers of commerce and regional economic development entities and 8 philanthropic organizations came together to form the Arkansas Early Childhood Education Task Force and identified 3 key priorities. 1, to support the establishment and expansion of quality childcare programs. 2, to make childcare affordable for parents. And then finally, 3, to increase pay and benefits for the early childhood workforce so we can have quality care. Today, Excel by 8 is excited to announce that we will be expanding the coalition of businesses that are committed to addressing workers' childcare needs by hiring a campaign director to work with the chambers and businesses around the state to identify and address the childcare needs impacting their employees. We will also engage with the government relations team to ensure that childcare and early childhood education related legislation meets the needs of businesses, families, and the childcare sector, and is informed by the best practices and data-driven policy. Through this expanded campaign, we will address 3 of the 8 recommendations of the commission. So as Allison mentioned, we will be meaningfully engaging business. We'll be able to focus on incentivizing Arkansans to enter or remain in the early childhood education profession. And then we'll also be supporting efforts to expand the capacity of existing childcare businesses. So we're excited to take this next step, and we invite you all to join our campaign.
Well, thank you, Angela, for Excel by 8's great work already in this space and for the innovative approach to addressing childcare in Arkansas. And thank you for being here today. And speaking of existing great work, our second recommendation to increase access to women's and mental health resources, especially in rural areas, is one space where Governor Hutchinson, through his Department of Human Services, has committed additional resources. So at this time, I'd like to invite Elizabeth Pittman, the Director of the Division of Medical Services at DHS, to talk more about the Life 360 homes that were established in the recently announced amendment to Arkansas's Medicaid program. Elizabeth, how does the Life 360 homes concept address the recommendation from the commission?
Yes, thank you so much. And before I answer, just thank you to all of the commissioners out there for this great work and for the support. As you know, Arkansas Medicaid serves over 1 million people, so approximately 1/3 of the Arkansas population, and approximately 50% of children in Arkansas are served through some form of Medicaid. So we touch so many women and children's lives, and Governor Hutchinson recognized that when he created the new Life 360 home program as part of the Our Home expansion. It is designed to help those in 3 distinct need groups to access community resources and have a care coordination partner who really helps them to set goals that they would like to meet for their life, goals that are not just related to our healthcare, because as we know, our healthcare is contributed in large part by all the factors of our life, our employment, our ability to access healthy food, our ability to have a strong education, all impact how healthy we are as individuals. So recognizing this, we've worked with the governor to create the Life 360 homes and the legislature for maternal, which is for women with high-risk pregnancies. That one originally started just for the expansion population, but has since been broadened with the support of Governor Hutchinson for all women in Arkansas Medicaid who have a high-risk pregnancy to access home visiting services through evidence-based models that are already supported through our health department and our children's hospital maternal and child home visiting program. So we're expanding that to more women in Arkansas. We also have the rural Life 360s, which focus on individuals in rural areas who have serious mental illness or substance use disorder. So to provide, we have such a shortage of mental health professionals in rural areas and access to appropriate crisis services in those areas. So this is one attempt among many that we have been working on with the legislature to try to address that shortage in those areas. And then also the Success Life 360 home, which targets children or youth. They're not children, although they seem like children to me, 19 to about 27 in high risk categories, those that were former foster children, former juvenile justice involved, formerly incarcerated, and actually veterans as well, that are considered at high risk for continued poverty and dependence on social services to give them life coaching, job development, education, and things of that nature. Also, in support of this effort, we are expanding our full pregnant women Medicaid category. We currently have 2 categories, a limited category that only provides benefits related to the pregnancy to women, and one that provides all Medicaid benefits. Anyone in that limited pregnant women's category starting January 1st, when we get approval from CMS and the legislature, we hope, will move into the full benefit and get a wide range of medical services during their pregnancy and for the 60 days following. And then we also are working with several of you in this room on a behavioral health task force that has also been supported by the administration to try to coordinate behavioral health services in primary care offices so that people across the state have more access to those services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So much of DHS work is transparent to most Arkansans, even those who are receiving benefits. So I'm glad we could shine a spotlight on these new services today. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to reiterate the governor's announcement earlier today and to invite Andrea Allen and Dr. Sharice Jones-Branch, who you'll see here on Zoom, to talk more about the Delta Women's Leadership Academy, which is responsive to recommendation number 4. And that recommendation is to increase mentorship for women, especially single mothers who are underrepresented students and entrepreneurs. So, Andrea, I know you guys are going to tag team this, but I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Allison. And Dr. Branch Jones, we had talked earlier, and I think she's going to go first, so we can turn our attentions to Zoom.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? I'm so sorry I can't be there with you today. I'm actually at a conference in San Francisco, but I'd first like to thank you, Allison, for your leadership of the Arkansas Women's Commission, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of the very important work that we've done here. I'd also like to thank Governor Hutchinson for his support of the Delta Women's Leadership Academy at Arkansas State University. Arkansas State believes in cultivating women leaders who represent the Arkansas Delta. And this Delta Women's Leadership Academy will promote advancement of women leaders by providing them with much needed and important training and resources to excel and to personally develop relationships with other women leaders in the area. The Delta Women's Leadership Academy will work collaboratively with the Delta Center for Economic Development, and that is led, of course, by Andrea Allen. I'm very excited about this partnership and about the work that's ahead of us and all the wonderful ways that it will benefit women in our region. And I'd now like to turn it over to Andrea to give her an opportunity to share her thoughts on our new partnership.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Branch Jones. And I hope you're enjoying sunny California while we're here in the rain.
It's not that sunny. It's not sunny.
And I too want to thank Allison for chairing this important commission and for all the commissioners for the hard work that you have done. And I would also like to thank Governor Hutchinson for his support of women in leadership in our program, as well as our new chancellor. And it's not me, but I am going by Chancellor Todd Shields today, the only man who is on this commission. And we are grateful for his support of our program as well. The A-State Delta Center for Economic Development has a long history of leadership program offerings. We're a part of a university consortium that administers an 8-state leadership program for the Delta Regional Authority. And Dr. Branch Jones has joined our team as well. And so we were discussing how there was a need for a women in leadership program in the Delta. At Arkansas State University, we have and I think we've had it since 2016. Dr. Kathy Lloyd started the Arkansas State University Business Leader Women's Center. And so we will kind of be a spoke in that wheel, a program, an offshoot, whatever you might want to call it. And we want to certainly recognize Dr. Lloyd for her efforts. But our program will be in the counties in the Arkansas Delta, and we will be accepting applications and choose 25 young women that we want to nurture, give them all the tools and resources that they need, and let them meet everyone in this room, because you will all be mentors for them, and watch as they grow, support them, and then kind of build a full network and keep it going year after year, and have alumni who get together so that we're building a strong network of women in Arkansas. So we're very excited about this. To be continued, more to come. And I know that we'll be looking to each of you for your help. But the key to helping women lies in building the bench strength. I'm an old basketball player, so I know how important the bench strength is because I spent plenty of time on the bench. But supporting women from their young days as students through their careers, where we can provide all the tools that they need to learn, grow, and take on leadership responsibilities. And we all know, no offense, Dr. Barth, but when women get involved, things get done. And so not only will this program help grow our female leadership bench strength, it will also help the Delta region and our state as a whole. So thank you again, Allison. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Dr. Jones Branch, for joining us. I know in addition to not being sunny, it's also early there, so thank you. This is such exciting news, not just for A-State, women across Arkansas. I really appreciate, and the governor does too, the vision. And I don't think I quite expressed this specifically, but he gave $200,000 today. So $200,000 to A-State to develop this program. Let me also reiterate a thank you to a few other commissioners who are absent today. Dr. Kathy White Lloyd, who started the Arkansas Women's Business Leadership Center at A-State, and the Chancellor of Arkansas State University, Todd Shields, who has been just an integral part of this commission. Dr. Kathy Lloyd founded and directed the Women's Leadership Center on A-State campus, championing her Step Up, Reach Back, and now Expand Out philosophy. For the past 5 years, this effort has evolved into a model for mentoring programs like none other in the region. The Leadership Academy that Andrea and Dr. Jones Branch just announced is part of this Expand Out mission and will be an asset to a network of women in the Delta. Dr. Shields, of course, is the relatively new chancellor of A-State, and helped shepherd this academy into fruition. He had a last-minute obligation arise that kept him from joining us today, but his presence and his leadership are felt nonetheless. I am grateful to both of them for their leadership and partnership. Next, I'd like to welcome Wendy Stotts, Development Manager for the Arkansas Single Parent Scholarship Fund, to discuss how her organization will support another recommendation from the report, which is to increase awareness of programs designed to assist single parents. Wendy.
Test, can you hear me? Awesome. I probably could have spoken loud enough for you all to hear me. We are thrilled to be in this room today. Everything that has been spoken of serves the single parents that we serve. So anytime we can be in a room where all the resources exist that serve our single parents, we're thrilled to be there. So thank you for this opportunity. I do serve the Arkansas Single Parent Scholarship Fund. It is what drives me and gets me up every morning. So we're just thrilled to announce that we will increase awareness of programs designed to assist single parents by working with the Arkansas Department of Commerce's Division of Workforce Services, combining the power of government assistance with ASPSF. That's all the consonants that that identify our organization, Arkansas Single Parent Scholarship Fund. Combining the power of government assistance with our flexible dollars that we provide to single parent students, the majority of who are women, to make better use of the benefits available to them, allowing them to finish their degree or certificate program. We also support them through the pursuit of a trade certificate and create a better life for themselves, their children, and the generations that follow. Specific programs that will be promoted include the Arkansas Career Pathways Initiative, the Transitional Employment Assistance Program, TEA, and Arkansas Work Pays. We are, again, I cannot express enough how thrilled we are to be able to coordinate and collaborate with you all, to be a part of this commission, to support our single parent students as they pursue a better life and economic independence for their families. Thank you so much.
Wendy, I know your partner in this effort, Assistant Director of the Division of Workforce Services at the Arkansas Department of Commerce, Phil Harris, is in the audience today too. So Phil, thank you so much for your leadership as well. And Dr. Sharice Childers, who was a commissioner and your boss. On behalf of his bosses, DWS Director, Dr. Sharice Childers, and Commerce Secretary Mike Preston, and all of our bosses in state government, Governor Hutchinson, thank you for your partnership. Let's give one more round of applause to those on the stage today who've committed so much. So we have one more special announcement today that kind of came through at the last minute. Gayatri, where are you? Yeah, girl. Gayatri, do you have something from Walmart maybe to here that let me it was such a shock I didn't even give you a microphone. Maybe you have something you want to say?
Thanks so much. Weird echo. Okay, switch sides. So first of all, I want to thank the women's leadership community inside of Walmart. We have different communities, employee resource groups, and we actually have all of the leaders of the women's resource community who are here in the room today from Walmart. So if I could just ask them to stand up so we can acknowledge you guys. As you guys all know, Walmart's the largest private employer in the United States, largest private employer in the state of Arkansas, and has 2.2 million globally employees. And the work that happens in our backyard here in Arkansas is incredibly important to the company. So we're really thrilled today to be able to make a $25,000 contribution to the Arkansas Women's Foundation to further the follow-up work from the commission report and ensure the dollars are there both to do the roadshow of the findings of the commission, but also just to continue the work. And as Allison said, to make sure that we don't go another 50 years without seeing updates on the data that's in these reports. So thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you. And we just so happen to have the CEO of the Women's Foundation in the room. So Annabeth, maybe you can talk about how these $25,000 will be used.
Well, thank you all. My name is Annabeth Gorman. I'm the CEO of the Women's Foundation of Arkansas. And I have a microphone in front of me, which is a dangerous thing. But I just want to say on behalf of the Women's Foundation of Arkansas Board of Directors and staff, I'm I'm grateful to Walmart for acknowledging our commitment to supporting Arkansas women's journey to economic security. Just over a year ago, we requested that Governor Hutchinson reinstate the Women's Commission. Again, we have not had a Women's Commission or a report released in next year will be 50 years. And if you look across the state, there are several Women's Commissions in existence, and our state was lacking one. And we thought it was about time that we have another Women's Commission. And again, we had a true champion in the form of Chief of Staff Allison Williams that really appointed incredible commissioners with the governor's blessing to this work, and truly embarked on a year of really hard work to produce the recommendations. And with the investment by Walmart today, what will happen next year, which happens to be the WFA's 25th anniversary, we will actually be going across the state, regionally, taking this report and really continuing our work of building a cross-section of stakeholders, of foundations, for-profits, state agencies, on how we can continue to be innovative, because Arkansas women deserve it, and they do, and they deserve their voices to be amplified, and that's what we believe at the Women's Foundation of Arkansas. Again, we're so proud of this report released today. We're excited to have it in our portfolio of things that we share as a resource, and we're going to do our part, and we're looking forward to that. And thank you all to the partners that are already pledging to follow up on these recommendations. The work is beginning, and we're excited to be a part of it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabeth. I want to just note, besides Gayatri being a personal friend and a commissioner on this, she is also the senior director and head of accessibility at Walmart. So a pretty big deal to have her in our midst. And it is her leadership that brought the women's cohort from Walmart with her today. So thank you for making the trek down, especially. I also just want to take a quick point of privilege. I mentioned at the beginning that these things don't come together by a single person's power, unless they're Governor Hutchinson and he signs his name. But on that note, I want to recognize Judge Karen Watley, who's in the audience, because she actually crafted the executive order that brought this to life. So thank you, Judge Watley. I know you had a busy schedule this week, and we appreciate you being here. And because we all need allies, and because I often say nasty things behind his back, so now I'll say something nice. Just kidding, John. John Eddy was a former member of our staff in the governor's office, and was a true champion of the Women's Commission, really making sure that I had an ally on our staff to help convince the governor. Didn't take too much, but to convince the governor that this was worthwhile putting together. So John, if you're watching or you see this later, thank you so much for your leadership as well. With that, I can't handle any more good news today. This has been a terribly emotional day for me. For those of you who watched the press conference, I got a little teary. And so I'm going to end on a very, very high note with that announcement from Walmart and from those of you on the panel. So thank you again. If you'll thank the folks on the dais with me, I appreciate it. Please help yourself to more dessert. Oh, Commissioner Holder has something she would like to say.
Take a point of privilege. So I mentioned this earlier with Governor Hutchinson, and just wanted to publicly thank Allison. And I know you all join me. She's been such a leader for us, and what we have done, the breadth of work in the very short amount of time, could never have been accomplished without a leader like Allison. She had a vision for this commission. She had she put us all together with scheduling and across the state, and very busy women. And I'm just cannot thank you enough for making this such a success, and something that we are all so very proud to have been a part of. So thank you for including all of us in this, and thank you for all of your hard work. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
We have the room for 15 more minutes. They literally squeezed us in on a very, I'm only halfway kidding. A-State has really been an incredible partner. They had multiple meetings this week, a couple of press conferences you've probably seen or heard about already. But please do continue. We've got about 15 more minutes left of lunch if you want to take that time and enjoy some fellowship. But thank you all for coming today.